Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to another recording of Ni no Kuni. We're post game, and I have looked up a lot of stuff. So, as far as just answering the questions that are still in my head, for instance, these rocks are based on a quest. I suspect a very late game quest, very possibly the last errand in the game. Astra, as a spell, is unlocked by doing all of the horse quests, which we lost track of Horace fairly quickly, halfway through the game, and then we found him when we were running around, and then we never found him again. Um, his hint is not very helpful. Right, so I also should point out that I have found out that of these spells, the spells that are in brown can only be cast by fairies. Where in the world does it say that the ones in brown can only be cast by fairies in the book? I don't think it does. I think these were spells that were given to you by the fairy godmother, and they really double up the number of spells. Um, it's still not 100% sure what these other spells to unlock are. When this game originally came out, it was a Nintendo DS game, and at that level, it having a lot of post game and a lot of grind starts to make a little bit more sense. You would actually be drawing these symbols on the bottom screen of a Nintendo dual screen DS uh, to cast them. And in fact, I think you probably could have cast the spells before you even learn them, although maybe that would have been a little bit unfair. Um, so the remastered has kind of taken a lot and changed it about to make it more playable with modern controllers. The broom broom spell, for instance, also, there was a whole race sequence in the original version of Ni no Kuni that is just like missing, and you use the broom broom spell in that, but you don't actually use it to craft the sky things, sky sweepers. You just don't get the sky sweepers at all, which that certainly sucks. Um, so there's, yeah, yeah, you use this like once in the Fairy Godmother for a quest. I probably already did it and just don't remember. Um, Although it is possible that there's just a lot of content here. In fact, that's inherently what is going to be the problem here is that I am very quickly losing interest in playing this game. Um, um, and it is going to be a mad dash to get to the secret, like, final boss if we can get that far, and we very likely won't get that far. Um, Doing all these horse riddles gets you Astra. Unlocking the 8 stamp card thing only gives you 100 XP and 100 HP, which would be useful, but not particularly super useful. It's going to have limitations. Hello, Oliver, enjoying the snow? About the aurora? Amazing, isn't it? It sure is. I never saw anything like it before. But it's so flipping cold out there, man. How the heck can you stand around gawping at the sky in that chill? I don't feel the cold, do I, stupid? But I still ended up coming inside, I suppose. Of course you did. It's cold enough to freeze your ghoulies off out there, man. Warm in here, though, ain't it? Funny since it's made out of snow. These igloos are built by the snow people, the Tomti. Some say that the warmth in the Tomti's heart keeps the igloo so cozy and warm. Can it be true? You know? Could be true. I reckon them walking fur piles are almost as friendly as we fairies. Not quite, of course, but close. You should try their ice stew. A bowl of that in the comfort of a nice warm igloo is an experience you'll never forget. Ice stew, question mark. Yes, it's a hearty stew with an icy bite. It's made from those flowers there. What are they called again? I can't seem to remember. Let's make that challenge for you this time, shall we? Go on, tell me what the flower in front of me are called. They're definitely in the Wizard's Companion somewhere. Come talk to me when you find out. So in the Nintendo DS version, you actually did get a Wizard's Companion, but you wouldn't really have gotten one otherwise unless you pre-ordered the like PlayStation versions, and I don't think the Steam versions would have had any way to get the pre-order DLC. That is, I guess, one of the things that is nice about Steam is that you can't be suckered into buying physical tie-in content and limited editions. Of course, that doesn't inherently mean every game on Steam just gives you whatever unlockables digital might have come a with a limited edition. There's lots of times in which video games are missing content on the Steam version because they were exclusive to a console version or a limited edition version. Yes, that was it. That's what they were called. Blizzard Bloom goes all over this region. A lot of creatures even carried them around. Oh, I need to give you a new spell, don't I? How about something that will help you in battle? So, Cloudburst would have been useful. Hmm. Hmm. I tried to mix Frostbite and Cloudburst together once to see if I could make snow. Did it work? Well, sort of. Well, it was more like hail, really. Big, great, razor sharp hail. Ah, it's so nice to see it snow again. Reminds me of something, though. I can't think of what. If only I could remember. Don't fret, man. You're a ghost. Ain't it bound to be some memory loss involved in the engulfment process? I'm sure there's nothing important. I hope you're right. Sorry, I got distracted there. I think I'll go and climb a mountain or something to clear my head. See you. Uh, so he's telling you um, that he's going to go climb a mountain, which means that we need to go to Perdita for the next one of these. And honestly, I probably won't bother to read all the dialogue. Otherwise, this is going to just take forever. Alright. Hmm. Hmm. So he should be here. I've got to cast that medium spell again. Hmm. And we'll just pretend like we're going to read all of this. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. So the question here is either we could type in Jabal all hyphen Duncan. That's JABAL space AL hyphen DUKHAN, or we could just type in Old Smoky. It's easier to type in Old Smoky as the answer. I assume that's two names for the same location and not two answers that are equally correct. No E. Just a Y. The only cure that appears once is the number 6 next to Jabal al Duncan. So now we have a spell called Veil. Do you know anything about the little island that has a monument with a Nazcan writing on it? Off in the sea to the west of the fairground it is. Do you know the one we mean? West of Fairground. Oh, I think there was a big battle there during the Wizard Wars. But I'm sure there used to be a much bigger island there. Where can this new one have sprung from? Well, Ma'am always told us fairies that she made all the islands around by there. Maybe she wasn't talking out of her hat after all. Really? So the fairy's mom can do creation magic. Interesting. Yeah. Really reckon she wasn't fibbing, huh? There's more my old mom than my old mom than meets the eye. Hold on a minute. How do you know all of this? How? That's a good question. I don't remember. I sure do know an awful lot, Horse. I bet there isn't a single thing you don't know about the Wizard's Companion. Just what's your story, man? How do you know all about the dim and distant past? I told you, Pipsqueak, I'm the Sage of Ages. That's not flipping ages. But it's all I can remember. I'm Horace, the Sage of Ages. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. You really can't remember? I was certain that traveling the world would help bring back my memory, but now I'm not so sure. Sometimes I feel like it's all coming back to me, but then it goes again. I'm right back where I started. But who cares? What matters is that I can go wherever I want and see whatever I want, please. Why fret on little things like losing my memory? I guess so. I mean, as long as you're sure you're happy. I'll be fine. And if I do remember something, you'll be the first to know. I'll be back waiting where we first met. Bye for now. So we go in full circle back to Ding Dong Dell. To finish this part. Finish this horse element, which it really feels like the game should have heavily encouraged you to do that by giving you a quest. Like it didn't have to be a thing that must have been done, but it definitely would have helped if it was a thing that was labeled and as a reminder to get back to it later on. Also, I found out that these wretches, if you don't get them, are are missable. So I think 396 was the last number, but 386 may have been the first number. So I may have missed a wretch, which may mean that it is just completely impossible to fill in the creature compendium. It doesn't even really matter though. There's no way I'm going to bother to fill in the creature compendium. That's just too much work. It is kind of funny how when you have a Steam game, when you have a PC in front of you, when you're able to have a Steam account that almost certainly is going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of games you can play, the limitations of something like a Nintendo DS or a portable game goes away. You don't need games to go 60 to 200 hours long, which I think there is a possibility you could play this game for 200 hours. This is where we first met Horace. And so in the remastered version of this, it definitely gets back to the idea of where this probably should have been more of an abridged form of the game instead of a remastered form of the full game. Ollie, you're here at last. I've been waiting for ages. Hi, Horace. Hey, this is where we met in the first place. Seems like flipping ages ago, that does. Hang on, didn't he say he'd come back to where we first met him when he remembered something? Hmm, does this mean your memory? Not quite, but I do remember one thing. What is it? What is it? Come on, spit it out. Ah, patience, Pipsqueak. I bet you want to solve another riddle before I tell you, don't you? I guess. You see that monument here? It has some Nazcan runes on it. There's a clue in something to something in the Wizard's Companion. Can you work it out? Alright, well. I cannot barely even read this. Oh, but if you did this, you could translate it. And if you had a real world book, a physical book to translate that, that would make sense. But this not having a real world book, they should have given you a slightly better way to translate this than just popping up this. Because this is just going to be too much work. That is inherently the problem with this game in general and JRPGs in general, is that it is too much work for too little reward. The answer, let's see if we can actually find out what the riddle is. Nope. The answer is unleash. I have no idea what the riddle is, but it's probably talking about the spell unleash. Yep. And at a certain point, I probably should just cheat through JRPGs if I ever am going to commit to playing another one. I should probably just look at a walkthrough and a strategy guide and spoil it, particularly in the case of Ni no Kuni, because it was a completely obvious storyline. There's no real big twist or anything. It's super simplistic, super easy to see where it's going. No big twists. The biggest surprise in the entire game is that there's just another boss at the end of it, which is not that surprising. Horse says, that's right, well done, I'm very impressed. All he had to do is combine two of the simple spells, Form, Familiar, and Gateway, and make the super duper one Unleash. So the symbols for doing Form, Familiar, and Gateway unlocks equals Unleash. Remember that no matter how far you go, you should never forget the basics. And solving it is proof that you're ready to learn another super duper spell. And we get Thunderstorm. It almost feels like there would have been a system in which you could have combined two spells on the Nintendo DS and drawn different pictures. There is the last Myst game implemented a system like that for a mouse, and it did not work particularly well. So, and there probably was about 10 to 15 years difference between the last Myst game and this game. And certainly a Wiimote is, or a touchscreen is a much better input than just a mouse input would have been at the time. But pretty much anytime these kinds of systems have been implemented, they have been gimmicks that have not been really embraced. And I don't imagine they ever would be embraced. Thank you, Horace. Alright, enough of the big head talk. What was it you remember? I remember the ash. Ash, you mean? So you know about the white ash that fell here too, do you? The ash, the mana, it turned all the people into horrible monsters. And when I saw it, I remembered. That was how I died too. Jeepers. Well, I never. A long, long time ago, the same ash fell. It killed all of us. But that's all I remember. Horse. I heard that a big stone was a monument to the Sage of Ages. So I thought if I came here, it might help me remember. But I don't think this is where I died. There's something else I need to remember. Something more important. I'm going to carry on traveling. I need to find the place where I died. Okay. If I can find it, I think I might remember everything. I have to try. See you again soon. And I could just spoil what's going on here. But there's kind of no reason to do that. Let's see if I can get where I need to go. Yes, we can. For the next location. Well, we've got a guy here, and he's clearly going to be one of the major characters. Let's go and save first, and we'll see if we can take this guy out. Spell. We still have Thunderstorm being 18, and potentially these spells would have been in different places. Otherwise, we don't have any other Unleash spells. Damage and nix possibly all the characters. Okay, I don't think that worked. I don't think that guy is quite our guy. Let's see. We'll try Cloudburst once. Might as well try it once. That's not doing terrible though. Like there definitely was a scenario here where this would have been a really, really difficult character to fight compared to even the final boss fights. Yeah, it looks like Thunderstorm is the one to do, so do storm damage. Let's see what if we unleashed storm damage on him, if that would do a little bit more. Of course, this might also be an indication that the final boss fight may not be much of a challenge, which is fine. I'm not really looking for any more challenge. I would just like to burn through the rest of this. I think there's about 8, roughly guessing, special bounty characters that clearly should have been sub-bosses before the beginning of the end of the game. They've stupidly hidden all of that. There are also spells and things that don't unlock until you're at like level 38. And I can only imagine the reason why I might be at lower levels is because if I was playing on normal, I would have had to grind a lot more. Yeah. You definitely are not seeing the experience that a normal player would have. A normal player would totally have to grind a lot more, and that would have led towards capturing a lot more of the capturing a lot more familiars. So here's what he looks like for real. It is weird that twice now we've had like ghostly versions of people be younger looking, which again just goes back to the less fun interpretation of this game that says all of this is just happening in Oliver's head. It obviously that probably would be what you would assume in the real world, is that he just dreamed up all of the events that happened in this other world. He didn't bring back his mother from being dead, which would have broken the possibility of that being the case. Um, he didn't really accomplish anything other than accepting his own mother's death, if everything is fake in this alternate world. Ah, it has been a while, has it not? Huh? Sorry, sir, have we met? You really don't know? Well, I suppose I have to change my appearance somewhat since we last met. What the flipping heck is he on about? Oliver, I've been waiting for you. I have a tale I dearly wish to share with you. Oh, okay. There was once a kingdom where we now stand. A mighty king united the surrounding lands and established his realm here. The king treated all of his subjects equally, be they human, animals, or magical creatures. A new era of peace was dawning, or so it seemed. But there were those who despised the king, covetous souls who envied his power. They plotted against him, sowing discord throughout the kingdom, and in doing so set Nazca on the road to ruin. But there my memory becomes hazy. I cannot recall their names, nor even their outward appearance. Were there 12? Question mark. Even now my amnesia has been cured. Their faces remain hidden to me. Listen, man, I'm not sure what you want to say to us. It ain't as if we've got the first flipping clue what the waters look like. I know that, but I also know that I recorded my fears about them somewhere. I left a message, a warning, so that when people saw them, they would know to beware. But where? Wait, yes, I hid it in a magical tome that would never age or decay, the wizard's companion, which means you must have seen it. Think. I wanted people to know what they looked like, perhaps what they wore. Yes, that makes sense. The robes that they wore are described somewhere in this book, along with a warning. You must know where it is. I'm sure that is the key that will unlock my memories. Please help me recover what remains of my missing past. Is that the root of the kingdom's strife? It was they who undermined the noble king, those 12 evil souls. I cannot seem to recall what they look like. Blah, 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 blah. The answer is wizard's robes. So, there was 12 bad wizards. What's funny here is it's wizards apostrophe s robes. Which that just makes it even more difficult. This is really a great example of a bad minigame. Yes, that's right. Now I remember the fiends clad themselves in wizard's robes. I can see them now, deep in deliberation. They were the Council of 12. Each member was given a title of Zodiarch. And that's not all. Well, come on, spit it out. What have you remembered? I was there. All those millennia ago. I swore fealty to the Wizard King. Yes, I now remember I was the Sage of Nazcan. You were, but that means, did you know Cassiopeia? What? How do you know that name? Cassiopeia, Queen Cassiopeia. It was so long ago. I've sensed her spirit at times over the years. It is unmistakably her, but I know not what befell of her. I think I better take over here. Now pay attention, because I'm only going to say this once. Fade out to black. I see, so Queen Cassiopeia, she gave in the darkness, and that ash that I saw fall in Ding Dong Dell, that was her doing. But Oliver, you really might be the one to save her. The Wizard King entrusted you with his wands after all. And we'll save her, sir. I just know we will. We were supposed to have done this before the end of the game. And that's the spirit. Of course, the Wizard's King wand is not yet at full strength. Flipping heck, not this again. Ah, fear not. To the one was once called the Sage of Ages, is but a trifling matter. So we don't have to go traipsing around after magic stones then. Thank flipping for that. Now let me begin. Awaken, O wand of the Wizard King. Awaken, O Astra. There are, by the way, 18 more achievements in this game. So it's all ready to go now, huh? Gee, thank you, sir. The true power that dwells within a wand can sometimes require effort to be drawn out. I believe that you alone can harness the full power of Astra. With it, you'll be able to cast spells that only a king among wizards could ever wield. I sure hope so. And you're sure all right settling the likes of us loose with such a snazzy spell? We've just met you after all. You've never had such a problem accepting spells from me before. You what? What do you mean before? Hold on a minute. You're not telling me. You're Horus. I was wondering when the gilder would drop. Better later than never, indeed. I was once the sage known as Horologium or Horus to my friends. Who would have thought a mouthy little brat like Horus would have grown up to be so important looking? Interesting he has green hair, too. How many times must I tell you? I was the Sage of Ages. I was no normal boy. Well, so does that mean you finally got your memory back? Indeed it does. And I have much to thank you for. Now, there's little I can do to save Queen Cassiopeia in my current state. I'm afraid I must humbly ask you to do all in your power to free her from the darkness. We'll save her. You see if we don't. You're a brave, pure-hearted warrior, Oliver. I will pray for your success. Oliver, apparently there's another quest. There's something I need to tell you. What is it, horse? I must tell you about Nazcan and Cassiopeia and about myself. Before you attempt to save Cassiopeia, you deserve the truth. Agree to the task. It may take some time, but I hope you can spare the time to listen to what I have to say. Thank you, Oliver. The story begins here long ago where the kingdom Nazcan once flourished. Through the appears now barren. Blah, blah, blah. Let's just pretend like we read this. The main gist is that Horus made the wizard's companion to teach Cassiopeia spells. So everything is connected. And yeah, there's not really too much more to take from it. And then it's going to have to find the answer to this riddle. Looking. So I need to type in either I see or indeed. Indeed. This would be so much easier in Japanese. Hmm. Okay, wait, we're not. Hmm. Hmm. What's the name of the wand? We know this. Astra. Hmm. 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 Okay, I guess maybe the problem here is I need to look at this specific errand. Hmm. 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 Man, I'm going in circles here. Really going in circles. Like, shouldn't be hard to know the name of the wand. Mornstar. Okay. But you have to actually pay attention. Hmm. 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 Okay. And that's going to have me. Hmm. Hmm. Because that's going to have me run all the way around again. And so I need to go back to Ding Dong Dell. Before we do that, let's see. Make sure there's nothing in this area. And nothing in the overworld. And um take some time to just kind of run around. We'll do the horse thing later. But I mean, this is definitely post-game content. There's no way you would have been able to do this quest. You could have gotten Astra as a spell before fighting Cassiopeia, but you couldn't have done anything else. Right. You want to seek fortune and see if there's anything around here. And then also we want to see if there's any dots. And I guess if... Why can I not call Tegri from here? Hmm. Hmm. Alright. I should have checked first. Alright, so this guy is a big ticket item guy. So we'll take him out. At a certain level, I think we probably should have just followed the instructions to get to places. Astra normally costs 60. We have a 10% discount at 54. Let's see how that works. 544 damage is a lot, and yet oddly not enough to hurt him. So I wonder if there's fire weakness. You're not going to really level up, nor are you going to have that extra actually, I guess he'll probably do things just fine. Yeah, you're not going to really level up to get faster refills on HP and MP. So I don't want to just cast a bunch of spells. Particularly if even Astra really is not a one-hit kill guaranteed. There's nothing here. Let's turn around and go to this chicken island. There's a treasure chest here. Seriously doubt if anything is gonna try to attack me or fight me. Alright. We have 8 more treasure chests, which have to be kind of just out and about in places. That would be my assumption. Let's see. Tough one to land on. So we both have a secret treasure chest here. And a creature on the ocean that we need to fight, and a cave. And I assume the cave may very well be designed here so that we alright. Do we have 3 sprockets? Hmm. So that guy wanted a sword. Sorcerer's robes. Which, I mean, it's certainly something to think about wearing. Hmm. So we've got some trades here, all in this one area that is very far away. Hmm. 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 You almost certainly would have had Nature's Tongue at this point. Hmm. Hmm. I don't think I have 3 sprockets with me. Hmm. Hmm. A potty. And see, I don't know if these really are becoming errands, or if this is just something you'd have to remember. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think it's really just something you'd have to remember, that there are several little trades you can do in this area. Hmm. And I probably won't do in this area. And my hope would have been that the boat was here. But no, so luck. Alright, so then this means I'm gonna have to call up the dragon. And I'll have to go get the boat and bring it back. Meanwhile, we'll fly to this island and see if there's any more treasure chests. Those might have been some of the treasure chests. The 2 inside that cave might count towards uh, the remaining 9, or they might not. And if they don't, then we've just got 6 more somewhere. Hmm. Pure steel armor. Oh, I suppose it's worth also mentioning that some of these items you literally can never replace. So if you trade them away or sell them or give them away, you'll just never get them again. Which that's bad game design. For if you're going to give unsellable items, it's long since been the expectation that the game would force you to not be able to sell those said items, and then would instead um, interesting. You can go up this part. You can go over here. I'm just gonna have to cast the spell again. Master Caster Sprint preventing detection in the wild. Boy, is that a spell that should have been unlocked way earlier in the game. It's totally a useless spell at this point. Alright. It's so silly to have to land just to get on the boat to then sail. And I'm holding down B as if that would speed anything up, but it doesn't really feel like it's speeding anything up. Yep. It's going to be a long journey. Yet. Inherently, one of the worst things about Steam Direct as a program is the idea that anybody could just post a game on in the same marketplace as AAA developers, as people who have somewhat proven themselves or at least have enough funding that they at the very least have enough money behind them to not come out with just absolute garbage, or to sell games made by people who are basically not really grasping the reality of the marketplace. And Steam Direct got rid of that, certainly, and created a situation where a lot of people are using RPG Maker, which RPG Maker in itself is kind of propagating that, because they are selling RPG Maker, many different versions of RPG Maker, like it is a actual game engine that will lead towards making a really good RPG, when really it just doesn't do that. It's, at best case scenario, a game engine that is as difficult, if not more difficult, to make a NES era RPG, 8-bit RPG looking game, which there's so many of those because of RPG Maker already on Steam that the marketplace is completely saturated. In a similar vein, it seems like there is this thought that it's easy to make RPGs amongst Westerners using RPG Maker, or people using RPG Maker, or even Japanese people who grew up playing JRPGs. And I feel like Ni no Kuni here, particularly in its remastered version, really drops the ball there. And it isn't a good RPG. In fact, it misses a lot of tricks, a lot of optimizations that it shouldn't be missing. Nothing's going to heal me, so I'm going to end up just taking some damage here. But you know what? Doesn't really matter. RPGs, JRPGs, they really should be a lot better for the decades that they've existed. There really should be a realization that somebody who just started playing games today, a 10-year-old starting to play games today is not going to be capable of playing Pokemon Red and Blue or Red and Green or Blue, and then the second generation Pokemon games, then the third generation Pokemon games. Some of that is going to either is going to have to be just skipped. And I definitely know when I was a kid, there were games that I didn't get around to playing that I kind of was unhappy about not playing. But now that I've gotten older, I would never have time to play them. And certainly when I was a kid, there was way fewer games anyways, so you theoretically could have played all the Final Fantasies or all the Pokemon games because there was just less competition. But now there is competition, and it's not just competition from new games, it's competition from old games. And that's where it gets to the concept of relevancy, whether a game is actually relevant to a general gaming community or general gaming culture. And I would almost certainly have to argue that Ni no Kuni is not a relevant JRPG to play. And you would be better off playing, say, Dragon Age 10 or Pokemon or any number of other games instead. We won't get any more wizard stories, I'm sure. Should we save our progress? Sure, why not? Okay. Yeah. I'd say that if you wanted this game to really stand out, you would have gotten rid of some of this. Right, that's a stamp card and most of another stamp card. Notice we're getting fairly large amounts of gold. And a fairly large amount of quests. You can't fight the final boss until you've done all the side quests. There's also rewards for going back to the forest and talking to the tree, so we should do that at some point. I assume he is still back where he was. The running around part here is good. The dungeon, if there'd been more dungeon stuff, that would have been ideal. Alright, let me look and see actually specifically where the guy is if he's not there. Hmm. 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 Well, he's not here. Okay. Can we vacate? Can we travel? Hmm. I don't think I need to be here, but it'd be interesting to see what Skull Mountain looks like while we're here. It is just empty. Hmm. It's just these two characters to talk to. Hmm. There's only an easier way to vacate. Like, clearly, the only real goal here, as far as the game is concerned, is to make you run around more. When we just didn't really experience that good of an experience to begin with, so why would it be any better the second time around? That's a trope, certainly, that's a problem in many video games, not just JRPGs. But it is fairly common to try and stretch a game out and effectively make the game worse because of it. Hmm. How do we get the mini map back up? It's missing. Hmm. I'm pressing the right bump, but the heads up display is just disappearing. Hmm. Hmm. I almost wonder if the heads up display is crashed. Hmm. I seriously doubt these guys will be any real challenge. Hmm. Yep. That's the level of overpoweredness that I would have liked to have been at as far as playing on easy. I, I would have wanted that to have been what's happening. And I would have wanted there to have been a fairly smooth transition to a scenario like that, where you went from being underpowered to being very overpowered. And we'll have to cast a spell again. Seems to be just slightly over. There doesn't seem like there is any way whatsoever, though, that. Well, there's a rock. I could have checked that rock while we were there. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like there's any way to actually end up collecting a lot of inventory items if that's what you need. Hmm. Okay. This top half, I do see there's a creature over there to fight. There's basically no way you could reach that without flying. Hmm. As you leveled up, the number of resources you found at each one of these should have increased. And it should have increased in a way that you're just getting a ridiculous amount of very varied items. Let's see. See what Astra does to this guy. Um, so instead of getting one whetstone at level 60, I probably should get either 60 whetstones or one whetstone and then 59 other items. That guy just did half of my whole health of damage. Hmm. This guy is a heavy hitter. Hmm. 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 Super heavy hitter. Hmm. Yeah, the problem here definitely comes down to just never gonna have enough defense, never gonna do enough damage. Particularly on easy, it should be a little bit more difficult. Should be a little bit easier to do this kind of fight. Alright. Hmm. I can't really use any of this. I could use food. That's about all I can do. Is I can feed her. And then I can hope maybe my character can do more damage to the guy. Hmm. Hmm. But if I just die here, I should just go back to the main menu. Actually, I can't go back to the main menu, so you know what? Can we run away? Nope. Hmm. We can't run away because of this. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Uh, Seems like that might do something. Hmm. Hmm. You would think like Astro potentially would help. Hmm. But it doesn't seem to really break the attacks. So I can only hope that this highly animated attack. Hmm. Let's go all attack. Unleash. I got nothing. Got no spells. Hmm. 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 Come on. And we're once again dead. With very little chance of succeeding here. Definitely a chance that uh, what will happen here is that we'll struggle to win, and then we'll find out all the other bounty hunter hunts are way easier. Hmm. 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 If Tidy's Tears actually revived people, I guess I could go buy a bunch of phoenix feathers, and that might work. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Wind Tunnel's not a terrible spell, but I really do think it is mostly just a case of really not having anything. Yeah, you definitely have to see the difference here. Um, as far as um, well, there's the end of that, and we just have to continue because it's a waste of time. Otherwise, we'll just pay money for time, and then we will choose not to fight that guy a second time. I clearly need to buy a bunch of phoenix feathers, but also I'm just not gonna bother to do a lot of this. Now I believe we've, let's see, if I had done that and saved, then I could have gone and fought the guy with more certainty. Yeah, I'm fairly certain as far as dangerous places, the deep dark wood is at 100%. So the only reason you really are coming back to this is because there were multiple times in which you were supposed to come back and talk to this tree, and he would have given you little bits of rewards and bits of dialogue and things like that. Hmm. 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 So we talked to him. That seemed to not really give us any rewards, so it may very well be that I had already talked to him all the time, or it may be something even as crazy as you have to walk out of the entire area and back in, which is probably not worth doing. Okay. Yeah, and I really do not know what button I could have possibly pressed that would have taken the mini map off the screen. Unless it's a right stick, left stick, or something. Okay. Another one to fight over here. It's a flying one too. Where are we as far as hidden treasures? There are 3 hidden treasures left to find. Is there a stone around here? Gonna ask, do I even care to fight these guys? Though. Hmm. Old Man's Cave. No creatures. Golden Grove and talk to the fairy. If you can look. Castaway Cove. Yeah, I'm not particularly enthusiastic about fighting this guy. But we'll see. We'll try. We'll hope that potentially this one is a lot easier. Warbird just stole money off of me. A insignificantly small amount of money. Just stole some more money off of me. Just nixed my character. I assume we defeat this guy, we get all that money back, but so it doesn't really matter. Interestingly, he doesn't really seem like he actually does that much damage. And so if we can just hit him, we'll be fine. As long as he can't heal himself. Oh, out of steam. Thunderstorm. Not killing him. Unleash. Water damage, maybe? I've been nixed. I can't attack. Alright. Spell. Unleash. Fire damage. We'll try that. Probably wouldn't hurt to also heal myself with magic instead of relying on something else. Relying on provisions. Unleash physical damage. Clearly, it would have made a lot of sense to have the Unleash spell unlock after beating the very first enemy. Like, after you defeated the first Guardian, you should have been able to use the Unleash power of that first Guardian as your finishing move. And then when you fight the next couple of difficult enemies, you would start to throw out. All right, there's a showstopper. Let's get it. Give me that showstopper. And then these animations for the tricks could have been left on the cutting room floor. There was definitely better gameplay that could have been made. The dungeons could have been more detailed. Instead of fancy animations that you see fairly rarely. It's just taking too long, even though we have a chance of succeeding here. Come on. And this guy's nixed all over the place. So, at least so we can at this point I'm out of spells. So I need to use a provision of some sort. But even a nice coffee is probably a mistake. So let's hope we can just succeed here. Alright. I've got nothing. Yeah, these fights just get too long. And that's not atypical for RPG games. For the fights to just become like these insane long grind fests. I still feel like this guy could potentially do a couple attacks and defeat me before I defeat him. And for that extra long experience, what do I really get? A little bit of XP, a little bit of leveling up, and that's about it. Okay. I don't think we ever really need to go back to the miasma marshes, but there might be actually a reason to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they put a being there. So you can't land there. And the miasma marshes don't seem like they've gotten rid of the miasma, really. Actually landing somewhere is fairly difficult. Yeah, I don't see any real dots or anything. Is there any quests here? The quest may not show up on the map anymore. So it might also be a case where I just have to talk to people way more than I'd like to. Alright. Just buy 11 phoenix feathers. Buy not that many. 5, 3. Probably sell some things too. Certainly there's a lot of things here that we still just don't have a lot of resources around. Let's see. If I sold things that were non-ingredients for 100, I could get 1,000 back from selling those. I clearly wasted a lot of money. I could potentially sell some of these weapons and get some money back that way. But I think really that would just be diminishing returns. I seriously doubt that leads to me all of a sudden having a lot of currency and a lot of items that I need. Okay, I can see way in the corner there's another thing to fight. Also, I could do that much, at least. And yeah, no treasure chests from there. Let's go ahead and save. If I cast chart chest here, yeah, there's a chest way at the top, and there's a character to fight. So here's the casino. I don't know if I even really showed this a lot. It's bad, to say the least. There you are, Mr. Oliver Maha. I've been looking all over for you. For me? That's right. There's something that I've been wanting to give you. Your very own RIP pass, as in VIP. An RIP pass. You know how much your parsonage is valued here at the Crypt Casino, Mr. Oliver. The RIP pass is just a way of saying this. It'll grant you access to the myriad of delights there in the RIP room. Please take it. An RIP pass for me. I'm not sure I should be accepting it. What are you talking about? Of course you flipping should. It's not every day someone invites you to the RIP room, you know? Yeah, I guess. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Gill. The door to the RIP room is just to the right. Please go ahead and we'll see what it has to offer. I'm quite sure you'll find the experience memorable. This is just like a whole section that you could easily have cut out of the game and should have cut out of the game. I mean, having anime girls play games with you to kill time. Again, it makes more sense if this was a Nintendo DS game and it was like the only game you had for a long car trip. But it really doesn't make sense as far as the rest of the game. And there's just no cheat here. There's also implied alcohol use here where that may have increased the rating if somebody had caught that. And then this was the whole control two characters while you were jumping that you never really had to do past the trials, and it was really difficult. We've never been in this part. So let's see what's in here. It is another anime girl. Welcome to the RIP room, where a range of movies have been prepared exclusively for the viewing pleasure of the most esteemed guest. In order to expand the range of the movies available, you will require certain special tickets. They can be won here at the casino. There are 4 tickets to collect bronze, silver, and gold, and platinum. Different tickets let you view different movies. On that track, try to collect every available ticket and watch them all. When you're ready to watch a movie, just seat yourself over there and enjoy the show. So effectively what this is they've unlocked a in-game cutscene viewer, which is going to simply let you see cutscenes. Now, from what I saw, there are some slight variants on the cutscenes available, but I really don't have interest in watching the cutscenes. Okay. So, to claim all the prizes, the Tin Man ticket would be $99,999. Some of these other things we don't need to buy. Some of these I think we probably should buy. But see, all of these are S rank things. Okay. 10,000, 15,000. So that's 25, 45, 75,000 chips. Can we buy 75,000 chips? Because that's really about the only way this would go. There we go. If you press up, it'll go up by 10s instead of 1s. So I could buy 1,000 chips for 5,000 guilders. But where are you going to get this extra money from? Otherwise. Like, I know I've lost a few thousand guilders. Dying and continuing. But there's really no way I would have had this much. And it's really not. Let's see. I don't think there's really a value in all this. Definitely would not be able to get to this ticket. This 10-man ticket. Or an idler ticket. I don't know what an idler would be. That kind of feels like that would be the thing you would want. Let's just buy this, which that got me an achievement too. However, there still are 17 achievements to buy. And seemingly, you can buy more than one bronze ticket, which means you might have to buy a lot of them. Like, if you were going to have these anime girls in spooky attire be characters, they needed names, they needed to show up throughout the game. There needed to be something more to it. Buying 1 bronze unlocked several cutscenes up until that point. And some of this. I guess the question really would be, what would the deluxe scenes look like? If we look at a Gateway to Another World as a deluxe scene. This is one of the Ghibli animated scenes that arguably may have not... I mean, I would think that they would have existed in the first version of the game. Inherently, I guess, there really couldn't have been that much animation in the original version of this game, because a Nintendo DS cartridge, even at a low resolution, would not be able to handle that much video. This cutscene in particular really shows how the life of the animation, it all got sucked out. Like, any fun, any enthusiasm just got sucked out of this game as they went further and further, and they're doing very basic, generic things. Alright, so what does that look like? I guess those are not them. So I think the difference is, these are the flat Ghibli animations. These are the 3D animations broken apart. Yeah. There aren't different versions of everything, but I think there may be different versions of some of them. But that kind of content really should have been given for free. And I don't think that there's any trick to talking to people. I don't think that there's any trick to slots. It's definitely not kid friendly to have a casino in the game. Okay. And the problem here certainly is, just need to start figuring out places to go before I run out of momentum. Yeah. Let's see. Lots of things that you can buy. so they're going to send us back to the fairground. Hmm. 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 For a quest. Okay. We can go to the fairground. No problem with that. Even doing these errands, though, is kind of a waste of time. Yeah, it really is just boiling down to that. Like, as I don't think I'm going to do all the errands because I don't think I'm going to bother to grind out to catch that last character, uh, that last familiar. Hmm. 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 Okay. I don't recall seeing a broom that needed to be animated in in this area. So maybe we haven't even done that quest yet. Hmm. Right. Seek fortune. Check out the mini map. Okay. There's another guy to fight over here. Yeah, I just don't want to fight these guys. So I've lost all interest in the bounty hunts. I've lost most interest in most of the places. Going back and getting all the treasure chests um, inside of the temples doesn't sound interesting. I think we're pretty much done. Like, sure, I could go into this cave and this guy could give me a whole bunch of alchemy spells to give us some more formulas. It's kind of ridiculous, though, that he wouldn't give it to me until I'm, like, done with the whole game. Hmm. Let's see. Hmm. Hmm. Grand Axe, Black Wings, and Touchstone or two. Hmm. Hmm. So he wants me to create a demon's axe and show it to the alchemist, which I don't think that means there is a new formula at all. I think that means I would have to craft it. Right. Grand Axe, Black Wings, and Touchy Stone or two. Grand Axe. Do we have a Grand Axe? Are these sorted by name? Do you have a Grand Axe? I can de-equip it. Who's got it equipped? I wonder. He does. So remove that. What was the other things we need? Black wings and a touchy stone or two. It's way too much stuff. Right. Do we have black wings? Mm-hmm. And then do we have touchy stone? Mm. We may not have touchy stone. And where would you get touchy stone? And do I care enough to try and find touchy stone? It's weird that I don't have even one of them. But not that weird. It's almost certainly not going to be a treat. It could be an accessory. It's probably not going to be that, though. And almost certainly it's not going to be something like that. Yeah, I just don't think we can. I mean, you can try and mix those and find out it doesn't work. Yeah. So you're screwed with that. Like it's just another waste of time that will no way work out good for you. Let's see what else we can fail at completing. We need to talk to Knights. Castaway Cove has lost something important. We also, I think, had Golden Grove, talk to the fairy, ask the boy at the treasure map in Castaway Cove. So now would be a good time to go to Castaway Cove. It would make a lot of sense if these quests connected in some way and gave you resources. It's so dumb too that they had so many different costume changes in this game. Like, I wish more of these characters had personalities instead of costumes. Even the ship captain is just a complete non-entity. So he may be losing his items further away now, losing his diary. It really is a situation though where you need to have enjoyed the game up until this point to justify continue playing. Hmm. 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 7 locations have been marked. Hmm. 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 So like now there's all kinds of people giving me all kinds of hints. I don't know if I really need to even talk to them though. I think they would just be giving me hints towards um, towards finding the answers. Yeah, the snow loving creatures is the one that in particular I don't think I would um I guess I do have to talk to everybody. But that would be the one that would I probably never bother to do. Hmm. We should see what these quests are, I suppose. Hmm. Hmm. I think I am supposed to be talking to everybody here. Hmm. It would make a little bit more sense to have to talk to all of these people several times and really get to know them as characters. This would have been a fine central village. Um, and you could have gotten rid of some of the other cat kingdoms and villages. Or you could have merged them all together into one big village. I suspect this Castaway Cove they're talking about is actually the place we've already been. Hmm. That would be my suspicion. Hmm. 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 Right. So, it seems to me, which there were 50 chapters overall in the game, seems to me like that quest ends. Hmm. When you find the Castaway Corsairs, which I kind of already know where it is. Let's go to Al Mamuni because we have 2 quests there. Or Al Mamoon. Let's see if we can kind of start these quests. Even if we do all of these quests, though, we're still screwed. Like they'll give us a small amount of gold, not enough gold to trade for chips at the casino. Like you really would just have to grind or gamble like crazy. Hmm. 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 The girl I seek is a girl wild as the hills, a forest dweller perhaps. She is short hair and necklace. Yes, necklace is most important. Hmm. Well, I think I probably could find one of them. These are not impossible quests. They're just not really worth it quests. Hmm. Probably wouldn't work in this game, but it would be an interesting idea, certainly, if there was a game where you had one giant city and they got magically separated, and as you beat the bad guy at the center of a dungeon per city, the city would move back to the center of the map. Um, hmm, hmm. So hmm, she's gonna have me deliver tiki masala to specific characters all around the world. Uh, but yeah, it would be an interesting gimmick, certainly, to reduce the amount of time you have to wander around um, to do quests and get all the NPCs in one place. Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, really at this point, all I'm doing is just trying to see what would be left. And a lot of it is just stuff that should have been earlier. Hmm. Right, so then I have to go to Castaway Cove, which means I would have to know what Castaway Cove is for certain. Hmm. You know what? Let's just go ahead and travel. Hmm. Let's go ahead and travel to the Golden Grove since we have a quest there. Hmm. This is an area that I specifically have probably wasted too much time around. Notice how it started counting over again. But no, it's always counting downward. It's just it has a star next to it because it's completed. Um, yeah, on the other side of this island, we can see there's a quest and chart chests. I think we probably have already found everything. Nope. We managed to miss one. I also suspect the robots will be nothing. I should fight this guy here because he is a golden variant, and there are clearly now golden variants at the end of the game. Although I don't know if fighting a golden variant means much more than they'll just be stronger. I've been saying for probably 30 hours that I expected at some point for the familiars to get stronger. I was not expecting it to happen after you'd beaten the main storyline, though. And just making them gold is lazy. I mean, you really can't get around that aspect. Hmm. Let's see. There's a green. You have to get across from the green. Which in this case was standing right on it. Hmm. Hmm. And I'm jumping past where the robot would be. So if there is something special about where the robot would be, just don't think I care enough to check it. Also, the game would tell me, or the game should tell me. Let me put it that way. It's not fair for a game to expect you to 100% transverse the entire world looking for secrets you left in it. And sure, there's been plenty of games that have a lot of secrets in them. Um, and that is kind of the old way of doing things, certainly, is to have people uh, waste a lot of time looking for all their secrets. But then there's also a lot of games that don't have any real secrets in them, and people just assume that there is something special to find. And I just personally more prefer the game be honest and upfront and just say, hey, this is what we're offering. If we want you to find a secret, we'll give you a quest to find that secret. We won't say nothing. And there's a difference between secrets you're supposed to play as an average gamer and Easter eggs that are hidden for people who can only be described as having too much time on their hands. And that's an odd thing about Japanese RPGs to definitely take into account also, is that most Japanese people don't really have a ton of time on their hands. Like, usually they're either going to school if they're young, or they're going to work. They're commuting a lot. There's um, there's just a lot of other things that the Japanese people are usually doing. And yes, they do commute and can play um, uh, well, they could potentially play the Nintendo DS or portable consoles um, while on a train. But even at that, they probably would be playing a game like this for a year straight. I, uh, these quests are really taking me all over the place, it seems. Hmm. Hamelin, the last place we want to go. And then find the Great Sage again to do all of that. And see, there's a 135 that we haven't unlocked. In fact, there's oddly a lot of errands here that are skipped over. It goes to 84 here, then 86 here, then 138 here, and yeah, 138 versus 136 here, 132, 133. So it seems like they've mixed and matched the extra features or the numbering system. There's no real way. Also, there's never a reason why there's only 3 tabs at the top. It seems like, I guess maybe if the game was at a lower resolution at 720, there wouldn't be that much room. There is nothing here, I think, that I need to do. I think we also, at this point, are probably never going to find those last 2 treasure chests. I imagine they are hidden somewhere, kind of out of the way. Here's another thing that's really annoying. Like, now that we've beaten the game, we've unlocked a whole new S rank of these temple trials. I could go through all these and potentially get a bunch of gold. But I'm not going to. So there's this whole S rank here. This is the guy who would give us familiar tickets, items. So now we have a gold mite. And so we could have traded these out for the first few versions of our main characters. Although I never got a flutterby at all. But they never really told you that that's where the mite tickets go. And you wouldn't have had these mite tickets outside of the remastered version. It definitely feels like some of these tickets are just straight up characters that you would never even fight or see. And yeah, that's super annoying. We also know that the casino has a couple more mite tickets. And you might even get some more mite tickets otherwise. But I seriously doubt if I was to come over here. We go ahead and drop off this character. And then apparently no sort by number. Oh, there we go. So this would be a level 1 golden version of the character, but you can see his attack is at 9, his magic is 6. So you would have really had to start at the beginning of the game to get these golden versions for them to really make sense. I'm wondering if there's anyone that I've particularly got a lot of copies of. 3 copies of that guy. And that's it. Yep. Really haven't caught that many characters in the first place. Off to Hamlin we go. So one thing to ask here is, where are we on our progress reports? Wizard's Companion completion still at 89%, Creature Compendium at 65%, Task completion bumped up to 77%, Alchemy at 36%, and we still have 3 treasure chests. We are not getting anywhere fast at this rate. There's still... I would have to craft that one item, I guess, to get some more formulas to craft some other things. And this whole Noblia and the Shining Tree, I think that may be the secret final boss character. Alright. And it's definitely really, really hard to care at all when you've already finished the main story. What you could have done, certainly, in a case like this, is given me just like a nearly infinite amount of like giving him like an infinite amount of gold, infinite amount of items, just letting you really have fun with it. So I have a familiar that has Rise and Shine. It would be very difficult, I think, to know if I have any single familiar that has Rise and Shine. I'd basically have to teach it. I probably have the gym that I could feed to somebody if I was just going to bring him a familiar with Rise and Shine. And honestly, I could not care less. If I did give him something, I guess the question would just come down to who would I be willing to give away. Yeah. I don't think any of them probably do have Rise and Shine. Okay. Let's take this guy out. Let's see if we can feed Rise and Shine to this guy. Which very possibly I only have one Rise and Shine. Yeah, I have 2. Which that's got to probably be about the worst way to do that quest. It's also very weird that at the end of the game they're having you do that. That's totally a quest that should have been in the first 10 or 12 hours to teach you the systems of teaching spells and using gems. Although they probably don't want to encourage you to use that too much. Still have the audio messing up. Let's see. And so I think we just lost that familiar. Nope. We kept him. Okay, we have 4 things. The only thing that would really make sense, though, is to wait for 8. Unless you were just going to try and grind and capture people. The more you explore, the more you restore. Yep. I still don't believe for certainty that there is actually enough to get everything. All right. It's probably easiest to travel to something like Perdita and then call the dragon. And see if the dragon can fly us over in different ways. Okay. It's a couple of more bounty hunts. No treasure chest where I am now. Final boss battle must really just end up in an area that hasn't appeared yet. Fairly certain we've already searched this as far as treasure chests. Hmm. 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 Yeah, it feels like we've just been everywhere on the map. So I'm somewhat confused where the last 3 treasure chests could be hidden. At a certain point they could be anywhere, hidden off the coast of an island, hidden on the edge of something. Very possibly in the Ivy Tower itself. Even though we did seek fortune and chart chests and all of that. These robots could attack me at any time. And then we've got these knights. And we'll have to ask what these knights want to do. Hmm. 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 So these are like named characters. Hmm. 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 Let's see. So what is it really telling me without me actually reading all of this? Magimex have a strong connection to memory stones. Hmm. 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 So what is that quest asking me to do? Go and talk to the sages again. Find the four Magimex and defeat them. Stored in various corners of the world. We could do this one to finish that, and the diary is in an uncharted line next to a small stone monument near a large depiction of a skull. We could do that. Create the demon axe. We don't have the ingredients for that. We don't want to find the character for that. Probably go back to Castaway Cove. Marked with a red skull flag. Probably know where that is. Right. This leaves us with a couple of places that we could potentially use. A couple places we could go. I don't know if it really is worth the effort, though. I may have been able to use vacate. Alright. So I'm thinking that the ship, that pirate ship we fought, probably is on the ocean again, and that would be one place. I'm feeling the magic mechs are probably the robots we've seen before. Stop. Like, yeah. Somewhere around here. There should be something. Can't get up into the trees over that way. Yeah, it's just like two different quests that push towards Skull Mountain. I don't think, though, it's supposed to be in Skull Mountain. Though, I think it's supposed to be somewhere around Skull Mountain. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm really having a hard time thinking, though, that there's a reason to put another 2 hours into this. Let's see. Small stone monument near a large depiction of a skull. Even if we were potentially going to have a lot of random encounters while we were doing this quest, that wouldn't give enough good gameplay to justify another 2 hours of this. And yeah, we know there's a special secret boss and maybe some special secret backstory to the characters, to the world, that would be unlocked through doing the final quest. Yeah, but that's about it. Like, nothing else. Guess we could seek fortune and see if it shows up. I doubt it will. Hmm. 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 So that just fast traveled him back. Wow. That's quite the fast travel. Hmm. And that's only the beginning, I suppose, because I suspect this guy's. Hmm. Yep. This is going to send me all over the world. It's very odd to have multiple quests sending you all over the world. Unless I was just going to be the gameplay mechanic that was going to become prevalent in the game, that you would pick up a whole bunch of quests, and as you go to different locations you would accomplish 3 or 4 quests at the same time. Borderlands is actually pretty great about that, but Borderlands also embraces a heavy emphasis on fast-paced running and gunning, so very often almost all the quests in Borderlands are run to a place and shoot something, and that's it, which that's makes it fairly easy to accomplish a quest if all you have to do is shoot something from a distance. Does feel like there might be a danger in which we just start fighting a whole bunch of gold characters that are redundant gold characters. Um, and I don't know if, yeah, that thing. Note how Astra there did not even launch. Yeah. When you defeat one of those, you're getting a decent amount of XP, and a decent amount of gold, and a decent amount of items. So there isn't too much to complain about fighting the gold characters. But it still would just be a time waster on top of a time waster on top of a time waster. There needs to be something in this game that I actually want to do, and that is sorely missing. I was pretty much done with this game, I would say 40 or 50 hours in, and I've persevered through the main story, and I think that's more than enough. Particularly when you look at the statistics on Steam and you see how many people uh, didn't get anywhere close to beating the main storyline. There's undoubtedly, and I haven't had to say the phrase, or I haven't chosen to say the phrase much uh, lately, but undoubtedly there is a bait and switch element to this game that is problematic to say the least. Where it looks like it's going to be a kid-friendly game, and it just isn't. So yeah, for each one of these broken robots, there's now a quest to fight them. Spell. Astra may not actually do that much damage to him. 515 damage actually is quite a bit. In fact, it's kind of pointless to do Astra twice. Hmm. Yep. Rather bendy robot. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Let's go and vacate and fly. Let's see. Castaway Cove. See, I would more think that the last three treasure chests, if they're not in a cave, are somewhere around here. Mm, but no such luck. Hmm. 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 And that's not a little girl with a necklace. Hmm. And so if I was supposed to find the diary here in front of this statue of a skull, I'm not seeing it. These Aboriginal characters played no role in the game. Kind of pointless. Hmm. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a monster to fight in the outer edges of this area, or the sage to find. Hmm. Meteor fragments. Hmm. Yeah, the seek fortune mechanic is not very helpful either. Yeah, unless there's somebody else I'm supposed to talk to. Hmm. Hmm. What does this guy want? Bring a mushroom critter to the island. Hmm. Which would require me to go somewhere else to trade one out. 3 sprockets. Hmm. We don't have. Unless he means 3 sprocket characters, which we don't, then wouldn't have. Hmm. We did find a pot full of water. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I think we accomplished the quest on these. Hmm. Hmm. So these were just trades. Hmm. Hmm. So effectively, there's nowhere to go and nothing to do. Like, run around, chase after the sage, but we also have to get all the other quests done. Find the 3 Magamechs, which I'd need a guide just to save time to do that. Find some new ideas for the weapons. We can turn that one in. Next to a small stone monument near the depiction of a skull in an uncharted land. Yeah, the rest of these quests. Seem to be kind of undoable. The only thing I could think of is maybe we can deliver curry at the Castaway Cove and actually listen to the people who are talking instead of just pretending like we're listening to them. Since we've got... I think to deliver the big... I think the mayor was in here, but I guess not. It says... Far, far away and found the treasure there. Island of Mine. The Castaway Corsairs. Shipwreck Shore, no reason for its ominous names. So, yeah. So this is like describing places we've been. I guess the question is, where did they end? So there we delivered our tiki masala, or tiki mahala. Then still have to talk to more people, try to figure it out. Otherwise, I could have just used a guide. That's also probably the smarter way to have done it. Bungalows Bay, west of here. Our captain met her in there. So it's just like several different places. It seems to indicate where the Castaway Corsairs would have been. Which probably means that to do that quest, I probably need to go to several different places. Hmm. I pretty much expect what happens, or what would need to happen, is that you would be on the ship going around in circles, and then you'd eventually find that the ship is floating around. Or you'd have to investigate all of these different locations. That is also a possibility. And I'm going to end on a tease here, because I'm going to get exactly 99 out of 100 treasure chests. And still, I have no care to get the 100th. Not for the amount of effort it would take. I kind of wish I liked these characters a little bit better, but there's nothing really wrong with the characters. Mighty is a fine character. He's no Pikachu by any means, but he works. Um, let's just wait until it wins. Esther, Swain, Oliver, Marquez, and all decent enough characters in their own right. I can't just outright hate on their existence. It's just, I don't quite accomplish much. Hmm. 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 Wonder if I could get the boat to that island. I bet I can't. Hmm. It really would just be a question as to where the last thing would be. Not gonna let me land over here, are you? Hmm. 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 Giant skull, a stone. Depiction of a skull. Hmm. The fact that the music plays over and over again is getting fairly annoying. Hmm. 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 Yeah, and it doesn't really feel like there is a secret extra base, extra location. Hmm. Or it's very possible that there is a couple more, like, caves and things like that. Hmm. Like, I could believe there being 2 or 3 more caves in the entire game. but I don't even really expect there to be too much in those caves. We can turn in this quest. Hmm. Hmm. Ask someone with a good eye. Hmm. Hmm. So this quest is just sending me further away. Yeah, I'm done. I am totally done chasing really long quests. Um, we didn't even really make uh, any progress towards that one. I would have to do pretty much all of these uh, to unlock the ultimate power, which would have given me an extra 100 and an extra 100 MP and HP. But if we look, and we could certainly have done some of the bounty hunts too. I guess you could probably do half the bounty hunts and half of the things. Definitely not an option though where you could have done only bounty hunts or only quests or some of the bounty hunts and some of the quests to unlock everything. It feels like you pretty much are going to have to do everything if you want to unlock everything. And post story, post gameplay, it doesn't make sense. The amount of items never made sense in this game. We could try something here. Like, well, let's look at this point and see if we can craft anything. We want Princess Chocolate, which would require crown berries, which we don't have. So we can make chocolate bonbons. We can make fairy chocolate. And then that's it. And that's all I care to look at. I seriously doubt this is going to get me to full familiarity before it gets to fullness. Yeah, nowhere close. And there is, I suppose, a question about whether the growth limit would go away at full familiarity, and that would be the only thing that actually happens. Because that wouldn't be much of a reward. Yeah. We've long since stopped doing this. That's a huge mistake. They post game there should be people that are missing pieces of the heart. Or you go back and you bring some of the quests that are post game quests and you replace them with the missing pieces of heart so that there's actually more story written quests. I can almost have to assume that the post game content was added in the remastered version and wasn't in the original version of the game. That would be my heavy suspicion. I also suspect that the Nintendo DS version and the PlayStation 3 version changed somewhat too. Obviously, the controls would have had to change for PlayStation 3. So, yeah, very different experiences, but not really worth going through all of that. On top of it just being overwhelming with all the ingredients and things, we also have. Interesting. Where did I get that ticket from? And why didn't I use it? We have these improvement things that was supposed to help us improve our weapons um, for our main characters, and I don't think that ever worked. Like this to enhance the heart-winning harp plus the heart-winning harp. Yeah. Yeah. There's some other way in which you're supposed to mix this ingredient, and I could never figure it out. It doesn't make sense. It should work. Maybe it just magically already did increase the winning harp. I don't think so, though. I think you were supposed to be able to use the spell, and they just when they got rid of the ability to use some of these spells, they screwed you out of using certain abilities. Let's see if we can find it. If it was a fairy spell, even, that might make some sense. Let's see. These fairy spells fuse. Hmm. So if this is a fairy spell only a fairy can use, then how could we potentially give the fairy item to this guy? Yeah. There's no way. So it really does just feel like they dropped the ball, and they wanted something to be doable, but it's not actually doable. It's ridiculous. This whole game is ridiculous. I mean, and honestly, if this hadn't invoked the name of Studio Ghibli, I would have gone, all right, well, this is just an average, mediocre at best, probably below average JRPG. But because they invoked Ghibli, because they chose this art style, it raised what my expectations were to a very high standard, and those expectations were definitely not met. And conversely, the game has its standard JRPG high expectations. As you can see, our progress bar is incredibly low. And there is a whole element that we just have not unlocked at all and just won't ever unlock as far as whatever those question marks are. If we look at the dangerous places, yeah, we could go back to Tombstone Trail and get one purple. Vault of Tears and get, I bet, one purple. Glittering Grotto, I imagine, has a purple and a blue, or a couple blue. And that would be getting everything cleared, but there's very little reason for that. Creature Compendium, we tamed almost 100 creatures. We defeated 271 creatures. The numbers clearly are just getting bigger and bigger. with the golden versions of creatures. And I definitely would suspect that after the 400 point, this might have been remastered extra DLC characters that were added to make the game even longer. And as far as life lessons, we long since stopped getting life lessons as far as tutorials. Suffice it to say, I am dissatisfied with how this game has ended. I'm dissatisfied with uh, the story. I'm dissatisfied with the gameplay mechanics. In a lot of ways, had I just been playing Pokemon, I would be fairly dissatisfied with the gameplay mechanics in that game, also because it's just very repetitive and pointless. The story in Pokemon also very pointless. Just the gotta catch them all, gotta beat the 12 gym leaders concept. Um, but I also kind of know that about Pokemon, and that's why I would never play some Pokemon game or even something that was trying to copy Pokemon that wasn't promising something more. And the magic and the Harry Potter aspect was the promise that went unfulfilled as far as this game, on top of the Ghibli animation stuff. Um, yeah, and I feel like I could just go on and on and on. It's also been fairly frustrating to get through this game with my computer problems, which who knows if those have been fixed or not. But yeah, that's going to be it for this series. I see no reason to make another 3 hour to 2.5 hour episode just to whine about grinding through things I don't want to do. Um, I'm frankly just happy that I didn't rage quit it. It's it's a definite contrast to playing the Western RPG Fallout 3 with the Game of the Year edition there, because I think practically every single quest in Fallout 3, and while it was dull at times, it was nowhere as dull as this game feels. And maybe that's just because I've forgotten a lot of the frustration of it, but it definitely felt like I was having more fun, and I don't think it's just the running and gunning aspect. It definitely is in part the aspect of Fallout 3 just letting you shoot characters on the overworld map instead of loading into a turn-based fight sequence game with too many numbers and too many mechanics. But uh, I think both Western and Eastern RPG makers need to embrace modern times. They need to accelerate things. I don't hate the idea of having a lot of complicated mechanics, but if you're going to have those, then you need better tactics than just heal us or give it all you got or do whatever you like. There really needs to be a deeper system in which you tell each character to attack or to favor a specific attack, or each leader to favor a specific monster familiar to use. And I definitely have seen that in some mobile games. So it's not undoable, but more scripting to automate it, faster fights in general, less fights in general, less fights with bigger creatures to make longer fights is better than more fights with weaker characters. Um, it doesn't really help if 10 hours into the game you're one hit killing characters, but I kind of wish there were very easy modes for RPGs where you could reach that level at some point and just never really struggle. Remember, I played this whole game on easy. At no point did I feel like this game was going easy on me. That just screams that normal mode is way too difficult for my sentimentality and my play style. And that has always been a fear that I've been certainly cautious about playing any RPGs, but particularly Japanese RPGs and Eastern RPGs, because I knew it might get grindy and difficult, and I just don't want that frustration in my life. Anyways, I'm trying to wrap up here, and I'm going to start repeating myself like crazy if I'm not careful. That's going to be it for this series. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, watch every second of my video. All that stuff all YouTubers ask people to do because it allegedly tells the algorithm that my videos are worth watching. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites to get notifications, because YouTube typically doesn't send out notifications consistently, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you really would like to support me, which would be greatly appreciated, there's a link down below to a Patreon, or you could friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list or a gift card. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.